Thank you for joining us again at Cracker Books. This is another story about a wedding, one of those memorable weddings with Robert. And this one is again from Skegness in Lincolnshire. This was a similar time to the other weddings you've been reading about already. Weddings requiring horse-drawn carriages were quite the vogue for a while. It was Jupiter and the Victoria carriage once again, but no dog this time. We have a picture here of the Victoria carriage after being restored by Keighley's boatyard in Boston. This carriage had been originally built in Austria at the end of the 19th century. We brought it in a sorry state and restored it to its original varnish finish. This told us that the carriage had lived in the countryside. It was usual for country carriages to be varnished and town carriages to be coach painted. This was Jupiter's vehicle. As being a coloured horse, brown and white, the two went very well together. Now, Jupiter was a horse of much character, and from time to time he would be headstrong and difficult. And after many years working with the wedding carriages, he did become self-opinionated and more difficult to manage. His mother Juno had been Ruth's first riding horse, and Jupiter's arrival after a few months of purchasing Juno was a real bonus. This particular day in Skegness, everything had been going well until we were approaching St Matthew's Church with the bride and her father. This church is located in the centre of the town at the junction of four roads, so it is in effect on an island in the middle. We were approaching from the seafront, where we had taken the bride first along the promenade. Quite suddenly, a very noisy, small, two-stroke motorcycle came up behind us, and the rider began revving his engine and weaving his machine about from side to side. Jupiter does not like motorcycles at the best of times, and this one really upset him. Jupiter accelerated rapidly. He began travelling far too fast for us to stop outside the church door. He just needed to get away from that noise. As we passed the church door, the vicar could easily see our problem, and also with him was the best man, who happened to be a military police sergeant in full dressed uniform. We continued on our circuit of the church, and Jupiter calmed as the noise had stopped. As we approached the church for the second time at a more sedate pace, we could see a rough-looking lad at the side of the road being talked to by the NCO soldier. We could clearly hear him telling the boy that if he was caught doing such a thing again, he, the boy, would be wearing his motorcycle. We drew up calmly at the church door eventually, and all watched the sergeant return to the wedding party, a large number of which were now outside the church, watching the goings-on. The boy slunk off, wheeling his motorcycle into the distance. It could have been a very nasty situation, just the kind of problem that the Dalmatian dog would originally have been bred to cope with. In his best carriage-going days, though, the dog would only have had to cope with a few stray animals on the road or a highway robber or two. There we are, that's the end of that short story brought to you by Cracker Books, written and read by Keith Sanders. Now, can we ask, if you're watching this film on YouTube, maybe if you like it, you might give us a like. And additionally, if you would think about possibly even subscribing to the channel, as that helps us with the YouTube people, and whenever we produce something new, then they will let you know. In the final panel here, it shows you how to actually access all the other publications that Cracker Books produce. The first link is to our bookcase, where there are 10 different books you can download and read from the internet. They're all free to download. If you copy and paste that link onto your browser, the bookcase will come up and you can click on a book and it'll tell you all about it. Say 10 different books, all interesting, lots of entertainment there. Now the second link is to our website, and that tells you about what we are and what we do. www.crackerbooks.fr. Now that's easy to remember, isn't it? And for the meantime, until next time, thank you for being with us, and goodbye.